This is pretty awkward. Now, what's awkward is that the atheist antidote made the same many worlds interpretation of quantum physics argument and dark matter and dark energy argument that I was going to make in Doubt A Cell series a little bit further on down the road. It's like he read my mind and plagiarized my brain. So that was a low blow. Okay. It's still awkward, though. Okay, I just had to get that out of my system. I'm okay. It's okay. Because it's going to be just as awkward for him. The reason it's going to be just as awkward for him is because I can destroy his use of this argument while still leaving mine. Let's be intellectually honest here and say that if many worlds' interpretation of quantum mechanics is true, then it opens up the door for a whole fuckload of possibilities. Fuckload of possibilities. Fuckload of possibilities. One thing you have to keep in mind when you're making this argument is being fully aware that many worlds interpretation is just a mathematical model on paper. It cannot be tested yet. Some people would even argue that it's not even science, since we're being intellectually honest. Other people have pointed out that you're cherry-picking your science here, which puts you kind of in the very, very back of the bus in terms of religions or beliefs in metaphysics or whatever that don't have to cherry-pick their science. If we go ahead and assume, for the sake of argument, that the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics is true, this still doesn't have anything to do with evolution theory or abiogenesis, Big Bang, or any of it. It does not affect it. Even with the possibility of God existing via quantum physics, this still doesn't take anything away from any of the science that is already there. So any kind of intelligent design or creationism or whatever is still going to fail, at least in this universe. I actually already talked about some of these issues in a video that I'll put down there as a response, like forever ago, because of something that Gear Up favored it on the Venom Fang X channel. So in the respect of still having to deny science that we have, or deny theories that we have, and you're just kind of clinging on to this one to try and justify your position, basically gives you very, very, very tenuous holding if many worlds is actually even true. Again, this is something that cannot be tested yet, so it's not something that they are able to falsify yet. If the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics gets falsified, then all of those possibilities are gone. So not only is Brock's argument dead, but my arguments are dead, and we all better just go ahead and become atheists, because really what we're saying here, this is it. Okay. That being said, Brock, part of the other problem is, well before and since Christianity, there have been other religions or what have you that have been making the claim that multiple universes or multiple dimensional states or whatever existed long before any of the Abrahamics. And in fact, sects of the Abrahamics that started to convert over to some of these ways of thinking, a lot of those were put to death and completely annihilated as heretics and apostates. So even if we were to assume the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics is true, this still doesn't necessarily build a solid case as evidence for Christianity. The numbers of different groups in different geographical locations in different periods of time that were already talking about multiple worlds, and we're already making claims about the nature of the universe that are not in direct contradiction to the things that we know now scientifically, these guys still have, at least in my opinion, a spot in the front of the line. For instance, my own particular beliefs of Taoism. Chapter 42, ironically, there's a portion of it that says, I'll put it down there, even though it is a very simple statement, and very vague, ambiguous statement, it is one of the major cosmological claims in Taoism. And the thing about it is that this little statement can work for not only Big Bang Theory, or at least it's not in contradiction to Big Bang Theory, with a little bit of license to be the standard atomic model. It could arguably even be a description of the early stages of abiogenesis crossing over into evolution. It's in terms of a claim about the nature of the universe, it's not in direct contradiction to the science that's out there. Does it support the science, or is it supported by the science, is another story altogether, and that gets into a big semantic argument. But by not being in contradiction to it, we're still looking at it as having a higher chance of being true with the capital T. Another part that I'll put down here, which actually talks about Taoism making the claim to there being multiple worlds. Now, should many worlds interpretation turn out to be true, we're talking about a belief system that made that claim before the scientists even thought of it, before scientists could test it, before they even considered it as a possibility because of the things that they found from quantum mechanics. And not only this, but Taoism as a whole, since you want to talk about dark matter and dark energy, the whole idea of yin and yang, talking about attractive and repulsive forces, something that, as far as I remember, is completely lacking in Christianity. You're going to have to step up the argument a little bit more and bring forth some kind of chapter and verse to back this up, if you really want to continue to make this argument, that quantum mechanics is or supports the Bible. Peace, breathe, stay hydrated.